to Allah and speak your words straight to the point and truthfully. Now this introduction which the Prophet would use in all of his speeches, it's important because it reminds the person who's doing the speech to make sure that you're doing your duties to Allah correctly and your belief is correct. It is also reminding you of who created you and how that came about. And then the last point, it's reminding you of your correct duties, and to always, in your talks, speak directly and make sure you're always talking from the truth. So really it's a bigger reminder to me, I suppose, rather than it is to you. But this is an important reminder because it reminds all people listening to a speech, when you're having an Islamic speech, to make sure that when the audience then conveys anything, you convey it in the same way. Now I've been asked today to talk about the oneness of God. Now, to those people that understand Arabic, this is very easy. If you understand the liturgical meaning of the word Allah. In Arabic, the word for God is Ilah. Ilah. So that would be the correct translation of God. But in Arabic, if you put the prefix al before something, it means the. So if you put the prefix al before illah, you end up with al-illah. In other words, the God. But when you do this, if you have al before a word beginning with I, the I is dropped, and then that's how you end up with the word Allah. It literally means the God. In other words, the one God. Singular. So for... Oh, you like to tell me that is? Okay. So, in terms of understanding the oneness of Allah, for those people that are born and brought up understanding Arabic, it's quite easy to understand just simply from the one word. So, those of you thinking that us as Muslims, when we say God, Allah does not mean God, it literally does mean the exact same God which the Jewish people and the Christian people believe in. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is, in Islam, we clearly believe that Allah is a Unitarian concept. This is actually a thing in Christian religion which had a huge debate in the early years of Christianity, headed mainly by a bishop called Arius, and that fell into the minority view, and of course very few people know about this. This took place in about the 4th century of Christianity. But the ideas of believing in just the oneness of God in terms of the Christian concept is actually nothing new. And quite a number of prominent people over time have only had the Unitarian view. For example, Isaac Newton did not believe in the Trinity, but he was a strong believer in God. Benjamin Franklin of America, again, a strong believer in God, but didn't believe the Trinity. So that was what I would say is the main difference between Islam in our belief of God compared with Christianity. We 100% believe in God, the same God which the Jewish people and the Christian people believe. We believe in the same prophets as the Jewish and Christian people, and we make no distinction between them at all. So we believe in all of those prophets. But the difference is we believe in Jesus as a great messenger, a prophet of God, but we do not believe that he is the Son of God. That's the big difference. So in terms of the oneness of God, where is all this derived from? Well, it is essentially derived from one chapter of the Quran. And this is perhaps after the first chapter of the Quran, which is Surah Fatih. It's perhaps the first chapter which new Muslims learn and which children learn. And it's called Surah Ikhlas, chapter Ikhlas. The word Ikhlas means clarity or purity. So how does it go? In Arabic it goes Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. And the meaning of that is, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Kul. Wherever in the Quran you have the word kul, it is a command on the Prophet to say to the people or teach to the people. So kul, say, Allah is the one. Allahu samad, the everlasting, the eternal, so meaning without beginning, without end. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He is not given birth and was not born. So in other words, he's not the Son of God. There's no connection with the Son of God. وَلَمْ يَقُلْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is absolutely nothing comparable to him. Now it's from this one chapter in the Quran which the scholars of Islam over generations and generations have based their whole basic teaching essentially of Islam. It is taught to us that this one chapter, in terms of if it is clearly, properly understood, these few simple words, it constitutes the meaning or the connection with perhaps easily 1/3 of the rest of the Quran. So if we think about it in terms of thinking about God, whether there is God there, these are very, very simple questions and actually to answer. And why do I say that? Well, I'll give you an example. A number of years ago, I was talking to a teacher in my present school. He left there a number of years ago. We used to talk a lot. Reason being, this gentleman actually studied to be a Church of England reverend, but didn't take the training any further once he finished, and then became a teacher. And essentially in his younger life, he had, didn't go into it too much, but he had some things happen to him which made him feel rather sort of angry and upset and bitter. So we used to talk a lot, and eventually he said to me, he said, yes, Paul, he said, I do agree with you, God exists, but I don't want to believe. Now how did we get to that point? Well, we used to talk a lot, and so he said to me, well, give me some evidence. What is your evidence